When you have kids, you can't just go on vacation without renting a bigger vehicle. We have 3 kids. You can't just go in like a regular car or van. You gotta you're taking stuff now. You gotta rent an RV. And this happened to me. I geeked out meeting Simon Cowell on vacation in an RV with my kids. I'm gonna tell you this story because I didn't know I was gonna geek out on Simon Cowell. It's weird. You know who Simon Cowell is? Yeah. Everybody knows who Simon Cowell is. Okay? So here's what happened. You rent the vehicle, you rent the RV, they give you a $1,000 deposit, or you gotta pay a $1,000 deposit, and your kids get in and they immediately cost you $600. And so I was nervous, man. We got to Santa Barbara and we got out, we started walking the dogs. I'm like, come on, let's just walk the dogs. And so we're walking the dogs, and as we're walking the dogs saw some other dogs, and then the dogs were all sniffing the dogs, and that's how they greet each other. And then the people, we don't do that. So we were like, hey, how's it going? And I shook his hand, and it was Simon Cowell and his dogs. And the girl he was with was that girl who was married to his best friend, and then, no, some of you guys know this deal. And my wife knew that deal. She's like, oh, it's her. Ah. And I didn't know anything about it. So we're standing there, and it was just weird, and you know, Simon's like, you know, he's like very, very wealthy, and he's like, he could not have been more disinterested, and he's British, so who knows when his day started. He's just doing this. And then she looked like she had gotten Botox in the morning and then forgot, so she went back and got it an hour later, just paralyzed. So it's just weird, and I was like, and plus, that's Simon Cowell. He's had an impact on global culture. And I was right there with him in the same spot. I was like, it's weird, you know? So I was like, hey, we're gonna get going. I didn't want to be that guy, so I was like, oh, I'll see you later. And so we're gonna take out, come on, kids, and then we walked away. And only, you know how drunk people don't know where to go, so they just sort of follow whoever they were with last? That's what he did, and he just kind of came with us. Hey. So now we're just vacationing with Simon Cowell and his Botox bride, and we walk into the parking lot, and he has a phantom stretch limo. This guy's been wealthy a long time, and then this Bond villain driver gets out. He's just beautiful. He's got piercing eyes, and he's 6'5", and he collects the doggies and prepares a scotch for Mr. Cowell and seats him gently in the leather interior. And so I was like, okay, and then we go and we get in the RV, and I'm talking to my wife. I was like, that was amazing. And she's like, yeah, whatever. I go, no, not whatever. That was Simon Cowell. He's had an impact on global culture, and I was in the same place at the same time doing the same thing as him, and that's moving. And she was like, okay, cool. Anyway, the gray water tank needs emptied. I'm like, all right, life. So I was like, okay, fine. So I walk out, and only I'm still thinking about Simon Cowell, what I should have said. So I go to pull the gray water valve, but I was distracted, and I pulled the black water. Yes, you got it. Okay, so I pulled Turds right on the parking lot. You can't do that in Santa Barbara. They'll give you the death penalty. So I had to pick it up, man. I was like, no, Turds. So I go get a Target bag, and I start scooping up the Turds. I can't leave them there. Would you guys leave them, really? No. So I scooped them all up, and my kids love Turds, so they're just hanging on the blinds and ripping them off the wall, and I'm like, get off the blinds, you animals! So I'm standing there with a handful of my family's Turds, screaming at my crazy kids, and I hear meep, 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 and I look, and it's Simon Cowell going, goodbye, new friend! I'm like, we're not doing the same thing at all.